I don't know. Just.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and there's.
One of the investors, right?
Okay.
I love their social button here, back up. Were you here? There it is.
And.
What's it, it's probably 70, yes. I paid $2 and 35.
Yeah, this is.
Still, they are selling, yeah. There's really a lot there. And I'm going over to the. The thing that does, we try to 5 square miles of parts out, one is very cheap. It's not. So as you go instead of top food, they didn't go out and just lay that. Right now, get ready.
Thomas Aquinas. Oh, wow. Well, you know what, your, my office and yeah, Aquinas. Oh my God.
So that would be.
I didn't just like, oh my God.
I mean, there are finalizing the second.
Yes,
Start recording. Sure. I did not be most of it, but you know. So I go first box of balls.
Yeah.
Right, right, right. Yeah.
It's just.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So wet. They are. Oh, that's what I should find out. Sure.
Well, that's exciting.
And then he got.
Well, he's recuperating. Oh, my gosh. That's. Yeah. Yeah.
And they're all names. School. The school in North Colony. No, Milo Grove. Chair, it's 4:30, that violates. Are we ready? Are we on tape? We are. Okay, I would like to call the April 11th Development Commission meeting to order, and we will start as usual with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance, the flag,
United States of America. To the republic to which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
please don't let it rain. Just get out. Okay, we have two cases that need to be tabled before we go on with the agenda. Case number one, which is Z23-067 on Winchester Pike. The second case that we need to table, we'll do them both together, is case number 9, which is Z24-006, and that's at 500 Thomas Lane. Both those cases are tabled as soon as we vote. We'll move. Second? Second. All right, we got our team here. Okay, all those in favor of taking the table and vote? Aye.
All right.
Please call the roll.
He's Schaefer.
Yes.
David Conrad.
Yes.
John Anderson.
Yes.
David Wood.
Yes.
Jerry Pratt.
Yes, we are approved. Okay, let's start with case number 2. Z23-060, 3925 Allen Creek Drive.
The 0.9 acre site consists of one undeveloped parcel in CPD commercial plan development district. The CPD commercial plan development district updates the allowed commercial uses. North of the site is a fuel sales facility in the CPD commercial plan development district. South of the site is a strip mall in the C4 commercial district. East of the site is a multi-unit residential development in the LARLD limited apartment residential district. West of the site is a food sales facility, in general commercial district in the city of Oaks. The site is within the plan boundaries of the South Alum Creek neighborhood plan, which recommends office of the retail commercial uses at this location. The plan also includes early adoption of the public city and policies design guidelines. The site is located within the boundaries of the Far South Columbus Area Commission recommendations for approval. The CPD text includes new restrictions and supplemental development standards that address building and parking setbacks, site access, screening, and commitment to develop the site according to the submitted site plan. Additionally, the code modifications and residential screening is included in the text. The requested CBD commercial plan development district will update the allowed uses of the site. The proposal is consistent with the land use recommendations. The South Allen Creek neighborhood plan, while staff supports the uses, there's an intended access study. Once the access study has been reviewed and any resulting comments and amendments have been addressed by the Department of Public Service, City Department's recommendation will be fulfilled. Therefore, the City Department's current recommendations for conditional.
Additional approval, okay. Any questions or comments? Is anyone here to speak regarding case number 1? Okay, we have 2 people. Are you the applicant?
Yeah.
Okay, sit tight for now. Let's have our traffic official give us some comments regarding the traffic.
Traffic access study is in progress with this application. One point of clarification, the traffic access study contemplates retail uses on this site. The CPD text has language that if the applicant should propose fuel sales in the future, that a new traffic study would need to be completed that would contemplate those uses. and then the access configuration would be adjusted accordingly. Since the time of the staff report was written, we did return comments on the study with some details to be addressed. The applicant, I believe they actually resubmitted the study earlier today, intending to address those comments. And so we just need all that finalized before we would be able to give our approval.
Okay. Kathy?
We have no additional comments.
Hey, Chris? Planning.
No further comments.
Okay, I would like to make my usual comments when, as often happens, traffic is not running at the same schedule as the land use proposal. However, it plays a big part of that. So what we talk about as this discussion goes on will be propositioned on you accepting whatever terms the city traffic throws in your lap. I call it the blank check comment, because you don't have much negotiating room if you have to get their approval. If you fail to get their approval and you stumble on something, can't bring it together, then what we do tonight is null and void until that's rectified. So we try to keep you moving along, but if you bump into a project, a problem in the next month, you got to stop and come back and see us a second time. Okay?
Understood.
All right. I'm going to ask the two speakers, unless you want them to add some comments to what the staff had to say right now.
No, I have no problem.
Okay, take a seat and let them give their speaking comments, and then we'll bring it back. Two speakers.
Chair Fitzpatrick, members of the commission, good evening. My name is Bruce Miller. At the time that this came before the Far South Columbus Area Commission, I held the zoning committee meeting. For full disclosure, I am no longer an area commissioner. I resigned at the beginning of March. However, I wish to speak to, in your information packet, the Far South Columbus Area Commission's recommendation page, because there is an error on it, as I am the individual that held the public hearings on this proposal, and they were well attended. The Area Commission, under list basis for recommendation, states that the commission had two requests that the applicant agreed to. That statement is in error. The meeting, first of all, was tape recorded, and I have a copy of the tape and I can provide it to the Development Commission. The applicant actually agreed to 3 conditions that were requested by members of the public that attended the meeting. The requests were, and this applicant in their proposal proposed building a strip mall on the site, a mini mall, that was going to house an urgent care facility that primarily was a occupational medical facility that was going to target truck drivers. And they were also going to have they stated a hair salon and a Subway or some other style of restaurant of that nature that serve fast style food, and that the applicant has other locations similarly, and they brought a photo of a location that they have in Grove City to model the basis of what they're going to build on this parcel. Residents of the community, in looking at other locations that the applicant has, asked for the following conditions to be set. And the applicant at the meeting said that he would take those back. This was at the initial zoning committee hearing. And then at the area commission meeting, which was held 2 weeks later, agreed to those conditions, which were that there would be no cannabis dispensary on site, or that the doctors on site would make recommendations, in other words, grant the prescriptions for cannabis, so that a patient could go then fill a cannabis prescription. The second thing that was requested was that no pain management clinic was to be on site, because at other locations, again, that the applicant pointed us to, they have a pain management clinic, and this neighborhood does not want a pain management clinic in their neighborhood, so they agreed to that. There also was a stipulation based upon the intersection, which is an extremely busy intersection, and there is also a COTA bus stop on Williams Road where the potential turn in, turn out is, that they wanted to have truck parking there. In other words, the truck drivers that come in would not bring the entire tractor trailer. they would bring the front end of the truck, and we felt that that would be disruptive because it is a very small lot, so they agreed to no truck parking. So those are not included. In other words, the no pain management on site and no writing of prescriptions or recommendations for marijuana are not in the recommendation. And that's why I'm here to clarify that. And again, that is all on a digital audio recording of both meetings. And I wanted to bring that to the Development Commission, that the applicant had agreed to those, and they are not here. Past that point, the Area Commission did take a vote. I was included in that vote, and I did vote for, recommendation of approval or to this body and to City Council.
Okay, thank you for a very clear presentation. Okay, someone else had their hand up?
Hi, I've never done this before, so I'm nervous, but my name's Anna Young. I am the Block Watch Coordinator for Madison Mills neighborhood, which is actually behind the area where he was wanting to build this facility at. I've lived on the same street in that neighborhood since 1988. I remember when Allen Creek was 2 lanes, one going that way, one going this way. It is so busy at that intersection of Allen Creek and Williams Road. The way that the building, we were told was going to model the one in Grove City, this one here would come out onto Allen Creek Drive at a red light, or Williams Road, that's at an intersection. I mean, it's a full intersection right there. There's accidents there. We just had a street takeover the other couple weeks ago with kids out doing donuts in the middle of the intersection. They said that if it was an urgent care, it was going to be open 24 hours. This happened at midnight. What if you got people coming in and out of that urgent care? The traffic is my main concern because it is so hard. And the business in Grove City that they are modeling it after actually does not exit or enter from Broadway. They have a no outlet street. You turn left onto it, and then you turn left into the parking lot. So there's actually no opening for the one in Grove City to open onto a main roadway. The one on Williams Road, the Thornton's gas station has a entrance and an exit off Williams Road. There's 3 lanes going east or going west on Williams Road, one turn right onto Allen Creek, one to go straight, one to turn left, and then one to go eastbound. It's why this property is sat empty for all of these years, because BP has held this property since 1987, I believe, and I've lived there since 1988. Nothing has been done with it because of the location and the size of the property. I just don't see how this will be conducive to our area and traffic. My main concern is traffic. So that's what I.
Yeah, they are on a corner, they have 2 setbacks to deal with.
Yes, and it's really hard. I mean, it's even hard getting out of Thornton's gas station, or, there's a Dollar General and then another gas station across the street. There's, the whole corner is taken up with businesses, and I just don't see it.
All right, let's get the applicant back and ask a few questions. Thank you very much for your. Okay, the 3 conditions, were you part of that agreement?
We were we attended the hearing. Obviously, the recommendation form came back, and I would say was more specific. We did exclude marijuana sales, dispensary, anything that would be permitted through the C4 or C5 uses. Frankly, with things like subscriptions and things like that, seems like it's getting into almost operations of the business itself as opposed to uses, in a sense. I mean, obviously we'll, get away from the dispensary actual uses, but now it just seems to be going to how the businesses are actually operating. Frankly, I'm not even sure how to exactly classify a pain management clinic. I don't know if that's a separate use under the code or how. So it's a bit difficult to sift that out, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it would most likely just fall under medical office. that we're not gonna regulate someone writing a prescription at this board.
And there's, every CVS of Walgreens writes prescriptions for Vicodin painkillers.
Exactly.
They're considered dangerous if they're overused. Okay, the truck parking, what would happen to these truck cabs if they can't go on site and park? What are their options?
Frankly, I don't remember that discussion. There's no proposed truck parking on site. This is gonna be a retail, in all likelihood, a retail strip center with, car parking.
So a truck driver that wants to run over here while they're loading the semi has to walk or get an Uber or something,
Correct.
basically. And you understand that, and that's okay with the operation?
Yeah, the site plan has just car parking proposed.
All right.
Yeah, right next door almost. There's a truck place.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, and if anybody have any questions or comments regarding those responses?
My question is actually to the first speaker, the gentleman over there. If you said those stipulations were discussed at the meeting that you chaired, why do you think they were excluded in the report?
To answer your question, I am not the zoning committee chair. I was filling in for the chair who could not conduct the zoning committee meeting that night. So when it went to the full commission, the zoning committee chair was present. That's Mike Walker. He filled out the form. I strictly presented to him the tape recording of the zoning committee meeting that was held. I presented to him the minutes of the meeting, and he filled out the report that was sent to you. And I believe it was an honest error that those items were left off. He was unavailable the night of the zoning committee meeting, the first meeting that was held, that the public attended. The gentleman from the Plank Law Firm was present. I recognized him. He was there. I conducted the first meeting. And then when I saw that the form had been submitted to the city, the items that were discussed and agreed to were left off. And that's my concern.
Thank you.
All right. Any other comments? The traffic, you got a really tough piece of property there on that corner, that close to a heavy-duty intersection.
Yes.
Street interchange with 33 is a feeder. It's got obvious consequences. That traffic study may put you in an issue or put you sideways, so.
Yeah, and we're pretty far along. I mean, it was pretty well accepted from the get-go that Allen Creek would be a right in, right out. Really comes down to what Williams Road can handle, but you know, we've been working on the traffic study for a while, so we're pretty comfortable with it.
All right. Do you have that aerial view again for that site? Do you have, what kind of screening do you have along I would say that would be the east side of your property?
So there's already a wooden fence that's going down the line of the property, and we're also proposing to add screening within a 10-foot area.
Landscaping screening?
Yeah.
All right. That would, I think that would help with the next door neighbors.
Absolutely.
Surprised nobody mentioned that. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Yeah.
Chair, I will make a comment. If it's truck parking that the area commission is concerned with, like people coming there parking semis and that type of thing, that is not a C4 or C5 use. So it's not permitted in this text. I don't know if that's the concern or not, but I just want to make sure that was.
Can I say something real quick? I think the reason why the parking was brought up was at the first meeting, I was there as well. It was said that this doctor who was buying the property was primarily a physical and drugs doctor, drug screening for truck drivers. I think that's how it got messed up. But there is absolutely, the gas stations that have diesel fuel, there's no overnight truck parking allowed. They're, they get gas and they go. I think that's where the trucks are.
Okay. Well, and that, if you look at a site that small, with frontages on 2 streets with setbacks, and you have a right in and right out restricted drive, your options are very plentiful to maneuver even a cab on a piece of property like this.
Well, even a car, I mean, right out on the Williams Road, Aries-Brook Apartments, you can't see it in the picture that you have right there, but their entrance is right there. And right across the street from that, almost diagonal from it, is Thornton's entrance and exit on the Williams Road. So that there's a Coda bus stop there as well, in front of the site. And
Well, I think those are those are very good and meaningful comments. And they're part of common sense. And I think that's gonna get shaken out as the traffic forces come together and analyze what dynamics are gonna occur at that intersection. It already looks like it's restrictive with the right in, right out, very, very tight access. But with those three conditions that were brought up about use and the limitations of no cannabis and no painkiller, no over the top painkillers like .com, we'll see at midnight. But if it's a medicine dispensary operation like a CVS or a Walgreens or a doctor, registered pharmacist takes prescription, takes action on it, it's no different process than a drugstore. Got the fence on the east side, and you're agreeing ahead of time to find a way to work out the traffic.
Correct.
All right, now do we need to have an adjustment to the text for this? Okay, unless anybody has another comment, I'm ready to take a motion to call this to a vote. So moved. Janice?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of taking the vote? All right, now time to call the roll.
Rita Conroy,
Yes.
Johnny Wilson,
Yes.
Kay Mugway,
Yes.
Denise Schaefer.
Yes.
Terry Fitzpatrick.
Yes, okay, you're approved.
Thank you.
We won't have to go back over this. Okay. Case number 3, Z22-002, 70 Obet's Road.
In your supplemental package, you'll find the Far South Columbus Area Commission's recommendation for approval. You also find one opposition email that cited concerns with traffic, apartment developments, as well as density in this area. The 2.69 acre site consists of part of one undeveloped parcel in the C4 commercial district. The site is subject to ordinance 0184-2022 or CV 21-094, which is the Ohio Housing Finance Agency funding, which allows the senior housing apartment building. Proposed AR1 apartment residential district will allow the proposed multi-unit residential development as conditioned in ordinance 0184-2022. North of the site is city-owned property in the Seaport Commercial District. South of the site is undeveloped land in the C2 Commercial District. East of the site is a daycare facility in the I Institutional District. And west of the site are commercial uses in the C3 and C4 commercial districts. Concurrent CV 24-028 has been filed and demonstrates the 81 unit apartment building and includes variances to building height, landscaping and screening, minimum side yard, rear yard, and a reduction in required parking. That request will be heard by City Council and will not be considered in this development commission meeting. The site is within the planning boundaries of the site establishment plan, which recommends commercial land uses at this location. The plan also includes the adoption of Columbus citywide plan policy design guidelines. The site is located in the boundaries of the Far South Columbus Area Commission, whose recommendation is for approval. The proposed AR1 apartment residential district will allow a multi-unit residential development at this location with a concurrent council variance that includes a site plan demonstrating 81 unit apartment building. Although the site of the Southland plan recommends commercial land uses at this location, staff are supportive of the proposal as the site is adjacent to institutional and lower intensity residential developments to the east, commercial uses fronting the more intensive South High Street corridor to the west. Proposed AR1 district will allow uses that are considered to be an appropriate transitional use into the neighborhood and will provide additional housing in the neighborhood. And for State Department recommendation is for approval. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay, traffic.
Traffic access study has been approved for this site, and the site access is located as per the determinations certain from the study.
Okay, Chris?
No further comments.
And Kathy?
Recreation Parks has no further comment.
Okay, is anyone here to speak regarding case number 3? Obetz Road. One speaker. Okay, Dave, you want to add anything to the staff report?
No.
All right, move over to the next chair and, so let the speaker come forward.
Good to see you, Mr. Perry.
Sir.
Members of the committee, good evening. Bruce Miller. At the time that this was voted on, I was an area commissioner, but I am now here I am the president of the Scioto Southland Civic Association. So I went from one hat to another. On behalf of the Civic Association, we are here to enthusiastically endorse this proposal. We have held 3 public meetings within the last 60 days about this case. We have had 1,147 residents attend those 3 meetings. Not one negative comment was received. They were all positive. In fact, overall, the public comment was they wish we could have more development projects like this in our neighborhood. So the response was overwhelming. It was an overwhelming endorsement. And we would love to see more of this type of development, and we would welcome the developer and Mr. Perry at any point to bring another project like this in our community at any point. That is all that we really have to say.
Those are fine words to hear.
Thank you.
I think Mr. Perry is a pretty good leader, so his rates will go up. Is there anything you need to add to that proclamation?
No, I know when to stop talking. I'm good.
You're a lawyer.
All right, let's not beat it to death. Need a motion to vote. Okay, all those in favor to vote? All right.
We did.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, we did. All those in favor of Kay? Okay, we gotta get my initials down here. All those in favor of taking the vote, say aye. Aye. Okay, please call roll.
John Anderson.
Yes.
David Wood.
Yes.
Denise B. Shanklin.
Yes.
Larry Hassan.
Yes.
Chair Fishback.
Yes, you are approved. Okay, case number 4. Z24-003, 775 Georgesville Road.
Before I begin, please see a supplemental package where it's updated. The 32.4 acre site consists of 3 parcels developed with truck and storage facilities, all in the L and limited manufacturing district. The requested L and limited manufacturing district will allow for privacy equipment and self-storage unit farm, warehousing, maintenance facility, recreational vehicle storage, shipping, container storage, and shipping accessory office. North of the site is a warehouse and manufacturing district, the located residential development in the AR12 residential district, and a strip mall in the CPD commercial brand development district. South of the site, is Woodland R2 urban district. East of the site are 88 drinking establishments, C4 commercial district and C5 commercial district, as well as a healthcare center in the county institutional district. West of the site is a multi-unit residential development in the AR12 apartment residential district. The site is within planning boundaries of the Hilltop Land Use Plan, which recommends mixed use 3 or greater than 45 million units an acre land uses at this location. The plan also includes a complete adoption of Columbus City planning policies and non-binding. The site is located for the boundaries of the Greater Hilltop Area Commission, whose recommendations were approved. The limitation text includes use restrictions and supplemental development standards that address building height, building setbacks, site access, landscaping, screening, building design, dumpsters, and lighting. Additionally, a commitment to develop the site in accordance with the submitted site plan is included in the text. The requested LM Golden Manufacturing District will allow plant and equipment rentals, self-storage lockers, warehousing, a shop maintenance facility, recreation and vehicle storage, shipping container storage and shipping, and accessory office. The proposal is consistent with the land use recommendations of the Hilltop Land Use Plan. While staff supports the proposed uses, there are outstanding comments from the Department of Public Service regarding the limits of the additional land limitation and the location of gravel center line from Hill Road. Once the outstanding comments have been reviewed and developed in comments and limits and addressed by the concern, City Department may be approval. Therefore, City Department's current recommendations for additional.
And your only issues are with right-of-way situations.
Yes, with the division of government.
Right. But no, nothing on site access issues. Okay, let's start with Fred.
Try to be concise. Late in the process, there was discovered an error with how the right-of-way center line was shown, which affects the limits of the Columbus multimodal thoroughfare planned right-of-way that would be required. And so, talking with the applicant, decided that, we can conditionally support at the development commission and work out those details of, what changes to the property line or any easements that need to be discussed, between development commission and city council.
Okay, that sounds reachable. Chris?
Yeah, planning's comments have been addressed, and so we're in full support.
Okay, Kathy?
We have no additional comments for recreation parks.
Great. Is anyone here to speak regarding case number 4? No one's here to speak. Dave, you want to add anything to the staff report?
Just briefly with Daniel's comments, I'm Dave Perry here on behalf of U-Haul Central Ohio. There's a discrepancy in a survey that, an old survey that U-Haul has. There appears to be a discrepancy with that and the street construction plans for Georgesville Road, the location of the center line. So since this was scheduled, I asked Daniel and Brandon if it was okay to proceed but understand and have committed to the process stops after tonight. And CEC has been hired as a local civil and surveyor and so on, and they've been hired to do a new survey. So we'll get the center line figured out.
And you're no stranger to the blank check rule, getting through the traffic.
Yeah, oh, sure. Center line has to be located accurately, and that'll then have a bearing on where the thoroughfare plan right away falls. Sure.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Need a motion to vote. Okay, you're rested. See, Dave is late. He thinks there's a tournament or something. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Please call the roll.
John Hewison,
Yes.
Katie Mouquet,
Yes.
James Keith.
Yes.
Maria Dunlap,
Yes.
David Becker.
Yes, you are approved.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to case number 5. Z24-005 3375 Refugee Road. Got hogging the agenda.
The 6-acre site consists of one undeveloped parcel in the R rural district. The proposed LM manufacturing district will allow limited commercial and manufacturing uses at this location. North of the site is a religious facility in limited institutional districts and undeveloped land in the ARLD apartment residential district. South of the site is undeveloped land in the R1 residential district. East of the site is a single unit dwelling in the R rural district. West of the site is an automotive repair facility and LC4 Limited Commercial District. Concurrent CD 24-010 have been filed and includes a variance to reduce outdoor storage setbacks. That request will be heard by City Council and will not be considered at this Development Commission meeting. While there is no council adopted land use plan at this location, the site is subject to Columbus citywide planning policies and design guidelines. The site is located in the boundaries of the Mid-East Area Commission, whose recommendation is for approval. Limitation text establishes permitted uses and supplemental development standards addressing setbacks, access, and landscaping and storage. The proposed LM Limited Manufacturing District will allow limited commercial and manufacturing uses at this location. Although there is no council adopted land use plan for this location, staff support the proposal and note additional development text commitments to existing tree line and additional information regarding restricting factors that require parking in front of the building consistent with CTOPT design guidelines. Additionally, the proposal is consistent with the existing zoning pattern along Refugee Road, which includes a bit of commercial and manufacturing oriented uses. Therefore, city department recommendation is for approval.
Okay. Any questions or comments for the staff? Okay, traffic issues here
No traffic issues with this application.
and planning consideration, no further comments. And our most important, recreation departments.
Our comments have been incorporated. Thank you.
Okay. Is anyone here to speak regarding application number 5 on Refugee Road? No one's here to speak. David?
Thank you, Dave Perry, here on behalf of Howard Concrete Pumping. Howard Concrete Pumping is a multi-state concrete pumping contractor, and I was intrigued by this application that they want to set up shop in Central Ohio, and I'm sure it has a lot to do with all that's going on here. So new building on Refugee Road, and there is a variance application that goes with this that will commit to a site plan and provides appropriate buffering to the east, west, and south.
Okay. Sounds good. Those are good problems to have, growth. Okay, I need my two teammates to make the motion.
Motion to vote.
Okay,
Second.
all those in favor of voting on this case? Yeah. Aye. Okay, please call the roll.
David Wood,
Yes.
Steve Franklin,
Yes.
Eric Almiron,
Yes.
John Anderson,
Yeah.
David Beck.
Yes, you are approved.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, case number 6. Z23-062, 454 East Second Avenue.
In your supplemental packets, you'll find several letters of opposition that were received, including citing issues with traffic as well as additional trucks in the neighborhood, this being residential in nature, noise from trucks, safety when it comes to trucking on Second Avenue, as well as a threat to the walkability of the neighborhood. The site consists of 3 parcels, 1 undeveloped and 2 developed with a single unit dwelling in the R4 residential district. The requested LM Limited Manufacturing District will allow an access and driveway for adjacent manufacturing uses to the north of the site. The site is also located in the boundaries of the I-670 graphics control overlay. To the north and west of the site are manufacturing uses in the M Manufacturing District. To the south and east of the site are single unit dwellings in the R4 residential district. The site is located within the planning boundaries of the Milo Grogan neighborhood plan, which recommends single-family residential land uses at this location. The plan includes the adoption of Columbus citywide planning policy design guidelines. The site is located in the boundaries of the Milo Grogan Area Commission, whose recommendation is for approval. Limitation text establishes use restrictions for only an access and driveway, commits to a site plan, and includes supplemental development standards that address access and landscaping and screening. The requested LM Limited Manufacturing District will allow manufacturing access and driveway at this location. While the proposal is inconsistent with the Milo Grogan neighborhood plan's recommendation for single-family residential land uses, staff note the proposal is accessory for the adjacent manufacturing use, which is supported as a mitigating factor. The additional screening along the east side of the site is consistent with both the plan and C2P2 design guidelines, which recommend landscape screening between residential and non-residential uses. Staff encourage a different type of fence to replace the proposed chain link for greater consistency with C2P2 design guidelines, but do not condition support on this request. Additionally, the site is consistent with the manufacturing zoning in the surrounding area and is not considered to be an introduction of an impactful use to the area. Therefore, city's department's recommendation is for approval.
Okay, any questions of the staff? All right, let's have the traffic on this.
We've had a number of conversations with the applicant regarding what infrastructure improvements or changes would be needed to accommodate truck traffic to and from the site. And we issued a scope of work for those improvements, which the applicant has agreed to. And so there's language in the limitation text that essentially summarizes that.
All right, looking at the site plan as part of this application, almost looks to me like it's you come in on Second and you go out behind the property. That doesn't look like a full service driveway to me.
Yeah, one unique element to this, which I believe was referenced in one of the letters, is the railroad crossing to the west over Second Avenue doesn't have clearance to allow truck traffic. So, one of the concerns that we brought up was, to encourage and enforce that, trucks coming out of this access would not turn right. So, it's not very common for us to prohibit a right turn out of an access, but allow a left turn. That's the case for this access point. And so that's why the radius is so much smaller to the left of the drive.
And it's also available for automobiles as well, not just semis.
I'd have to check for detail, but.
All right, we'll get into that. Okay, but you're good with
Yeah, they've done what we asked to do.
okay, Chris, traffic or planning?
Planning has no further comment.
Okay, and Kat.
Recreation Park comments, very quickly, thank you.
All right. Is anyone here to speak regarding this application? One speaker. Okay, would you like to give us your names for the record? And if you'd like to add something to the staff, step right up.
Yeah, hi, my name is Beth Seedorf. I am an attorney in Port Slater, Seymour and Pease, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant. And joining me is Joel Yakovac from Colliers, who also represents the applicant as well. So we'll reserve our comments until the other speaker speaks, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
All right. Let's get back to this. One of the things that we like to find out is what your concerns are. Are you here to oppose this, or are you just looking for information?
Oh, we're the applicant.
We're the applicant.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yes. Okay.
All right, we got one speaker. Here's Joel.
Hello. Thanks for your time. My name is Julie George, and my husband Matt and I and our two young children live at 475 East 2nd Avenue. This is directly across the street from the proposed area to be rezoned. I am here representing my family as well as dozens of neighbors who are opposed to this proposal. In the 6 years that we have lived on this block, we have seen a significant amount of redevelopment, from new apartment complexes to house renovations, even the demolition of some commercial property. In our minds, these have all been positive changes to help establish a community that we have really loved to call home. So our family and many of our neighbors do not see this manufacturing access driveway as an improvement to our neighborhood. Notably, for the past 2 years, we have been collaborating with the City of Columbus to prepare for the 2nd Avenue Improvement Project. This is a $9 million project that creates sidewalk bump outs and also narrows the road. We have been told, and this is ongoing, by the way, this construction is in process right now. We have been told that the goals of these efforts are to, 1, calm traffic, and 2, increase the walkability of our street. We feel that this rezoning effort is contradictory to both of those goals of this long-awaited project. Unlike nearby Cleveland Avenue and Fifth Avenue, Second Avenue is a 2-lane street with significant bike and foot traffic. I know this very well. In fact, I walk this strip of sidewalk almost daily with a double stroller. It serves as a connecting corridor to Italian Village, to the short north, and also the nearby bike path. It serves as a pickup point for many school-aged children taking the bus. And nearly all of our neighbors have houses that have the unique feature of porches on their front, the front of their houses. And so this has become a gathering place where we see neighbors when the weather is nice. Simply put, our highly residential street is not designed for truck traffic. It's not suited for around-the-clock pickups and deliveries, and with several existing access points on Fifth Avenue and Cleveland Avenue, we do not see this loss of residential space and this disruptive entrance as necessary. And you guys already talked about this, but if I haven't yet convinced you, we have seen dozens of trucks go the wrong way under this low clearance bridge. I actually have pictures from one that happened yesterday. I have a 3-year-old son, and so we call it truck stuck. There are lots of trucks stuck on our street. So thank you for your consideration. I respectfully ask that you deny this zoning application to keep our Second Avenue neighborhood exactly what it is, a neighborhood. Thank you.
Okay, any questions, comments? Okay, let's have the applicants come back to the microphone. The speaker brought up a good point about the contraposition of truck access route to the homes and neighborhoods. Your comments?
Yeah, thank you very much, Commissioner and staff. Appreciate the time, and obviously, thank you very much for hearing us. So Road Fitness, obviously, who we represent, moved into the neighborhood about just under 10 years ago. I purchased the land and then obviously built the building, and that was delivered in late 2015. So we'd like to think, and we have several accommodations from the community stating as much in terms of our involvement and our continued support of the area, both financially and with manpower in terms of additional opportunities, charitable, various other impacts as well. So to support that, we are continuing to do that. We will continue, and that's in an effort that we've looking to expand within the area. That this is critical to do so. The M zoning that's immediately west of this exists today. We own those properties. We own these 3 properties. And again, this is purely for an access drive that we have agreed traffic wise to do signage and everything that we can do in our control to make sure that those truck stucks, at least from our property, don't occur. We're going to put signage at that intersection. We've already agreed to all the mandates and everything that traffic has provided. So in an effort to hopefully mitigate any issues. Further, unlike the main facility further north of this, the use in this particular location is less intrusive from a truck traffic perspective. So this will be more manufacturing. So we'll have flatbed deliveries, raw material deliveries at this location. But otherwise relatively limited when compared to the northern portion of the building from a ongoing kind of truck traffic, UPS, FedEx, various things like that. So the intent is to have traffic coming off Star Avenue, load, unload, and then exit along Star or along Second and head west or east of Cleveland. And whether they head north or south, obviously at that point, that's obviously up to them. But again, all traffic is done in regards to E-plans and everything like that along Star Avenue and Second Avenue. We are working with them in conjunction to make those necessary improvements.
All right, I've spent many sweaty hours working construction at the Timken or bearing plant over my summers while in college, ingested large amounts of oil in the air. I'm still here to walk, and and I really commend you for a great job of replacing the 19th century roll bearing plant with a clean building.
Yeah.
That's great. I do have concerns. You're asking for a 60-foot height designation in this area.
Mhm.
Height 60. Trucks get stuck when it's under 13.6.
That's regarding the building height.
Yeah, we're not, so yeah,
You're not, what you're showing me is a driveway.
it is, yeah. So the 60 feet was just to be consistent with the rest of the
Site.
the site. The rest of the rogue sites are all have the 60-foot designation.
Well, and maybe you'll get back to that, but looking through the looking glass, I really understand the connectivity goals of the Second Avenue and connection with the things that are happening all the way down to the short north, the Second Italian Village, etc. All the things that are happening down there. And I think there's a way to get you what you want for access. But I don't think it'd be great for this thing to morph 10 years from now over to, well, you're in hardship and you need to put a production building on that same plot, and you've already got manufacturing zone with a 60-foot height, and now you're plunking down right next to a 2-story house with
Well,
I believe there's limitation
Yeah, there
because this is only an access drive.
Yes.
We've limited,
it is right now, but
again, we
curious
need to limit.
why you wanted, the first thing I did when I saw this application was put a circle around 60 feet for a driveway. I can see if your long-range plans want to keep the door open or
Yeah, I can't speak to that. I mean, obviously, I guess, I mean, I have to confer with council in regards to maybe reducing that to the 30, whatever that might be on this particular portion. But again, it was just consistent with what we have.
my son has some of your equipment in his garage for his kids to pump iron. They're already stronger than I ever was. So I would like to see you succeed here. And I'm wondering if there was a way you could table this tonight, you wouldn't be put in a box with that. Where you could program some things that add to the connectivity of the Second Street access. Put some brick piers with some wrought iron fencing along the front where the driveway comes through. So if you're pushing a baby carriage down that street, you don't feel like you've wandered into the warehouse district. On your way to the things that are happening down by the old Kroger property, that's where Columbus State is, that's being totally redone.
Down on Cleveland Avenue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Not sure why you would go west to go east, but.
well, I mean, I think I have a sense that there's going to be people that would be interested in living in that area. As
And that's great.
clearing up.
Yep, there's always the owner of Rogue's precipice and kind of the old school mentality of you build it, they will come type of concept of build manufacturing facility that they hopefully have a good bit of their staff that live within the immediate vicinity.
Well, I think there's a way you can achieve your goals.
Mhm.
And I think Rogue is a great citizen of the city of Columbus. And removed from that hidden place back in Grandview behind those other warehouses.
Yeah, down on Kenny and Kinnear. Yep.
Right, and you've done everything really well. But I'd like to see something along Second Avenue other than just a cut in the road.
I mean, what we had more in this thing, and we were explicitly told that what we were supposed to present to you guys was just what's on these 3 parcels, that's exactly what we're asking for. So the larger plan is being developed, but what we're specifically focusing on is these 3 parcels.
All right, but here's the reality. I've been on this commission over 20 years, and every case has an applause meter. It's going up and up and up. If it gets over 50, you're probably going to be successful.
Mhm.
If you have a manufacturing district with a 60-foot height, and it's 10 years from now, there's a pretty good chance you've got leverage to turn this into a factory or to a place for trucks to park or something other than what you're showing here.
Mhm.
So if you can generate something that says, no, that's never gonna happen, we want the access and we'll provide a link that is not interfering and not intruding through the residential sense of that neighborhood. I think I would vote for it, but I think you're in conflict with this open. Yeah, I've done a lot of designs for clients that don't want me to put too much down there.
Well, no, I mean, the city told us we had to limit what we were
Well,
presenting to.
and that's
to
true,
this.
but if you're going to, I already know that some people aren't easy with this.
Mhm.
And I think it can be done, but I don't think it's done yet. I don't think it's cooked yet. So my question to you is, and I'd like some of my other commission members to maybe come.
Chair, question, Chair.
Yes.
So are you referring to just these 3 parcels?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, only
If they have a larger site plan out there showing other parcels, that's what we asked. That not to show the site plans, that is what you're referring to.
Yes, yeah.
They are one that's up elbowing for space. This one is, there was a Big Bear, you remember Big Bear grocery store?
Yes.
Up in the Clintonville area, near Hudson Street. It was 90 degrees from the street. The traffic went north and south, and their front door was on the north wall. And there was a lot of pressure on Big Bear to knock down the old building to make it further back and front right on High Street. No design issues.
Mhm.
And there was just no way Big Bear was gonna stay. And applicants who lived in the neighborhood came to beg, please, don't let Big Bear shut the door and walk away. We need to. So we worked out a way that they could keep their building on site. But we did put brick piers with wrought iron fencing between and some landscaping to hide the parking lot and create a connection to the rest of the neighborhood. It didn't look like missing teeth. And it all worked. Everybody was happy.
Mhm.
Had that not been the case, they might have closed the doors and moved away and there'd be an apartment project in there.
Is there a street view by any chance, I think, in this packet, I believe?
John has one.
Yeah, the reason I ask is, or the reason I mention is, there is a significant grade change from the street level as you're heading down this area, if you guys are familiar, to the actual area. I mean, from the street sidewalk, you will only see a drive. There, I mean, you see the building.
Yeah.
You already have a visual barrier as part of the natural grade and change of the site itself, because this, I mean, as you sit there, this site's gonna sit somewhat, I don't know the exact grade change, but it's pretty significant in terms of what will end up. We have to bring in a significant amount of fill dirt to get it at the same level of our existing level.
Regrade that.
Well, bear in mind, as part of the city thoroughfare plan, they're removing all those, at least in our sections, up until a certain point, all the retaining walls and everything, and they're taking additional right of way and then regrading all of that up, which will be pretty significant, and it's all grass. It won't be, those retaining walls will not exist, at least to a certain point. Yes.
My question, trying to understand the problem that you're solving, right? So you're currently coming in off of Star or Fifth, is that correct?
So currently currently the site consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 existing industrial buildings, which will all be demolished in anticipation of the expansion in connection to Rogue's existing facility.
At this location?
At this location, correct.
So
And so.
is that what's currently behind, is that between Star and the big building right now? Where?
Correct. Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if there's again, this is specific to the site in question, so.
So where Glass Block headquarters?
Yeah, Glass Block, that's one of the buildings, there's 3 buildings directly south of Rogue's existing facility. There's actually 5 there. And then there's 2 south of Star Avenue that are part of this, plus these sites. And all those will be demolished.
Right.
But I'm just trying to understand so it's looking to service what will
What will be,
you be there?
Yes.
Not
Correct.
what is there.
no,
Yeah, all of the buildings will be demolished.
yes,
Rebuilt.
and new building to match the existing,
And it's
facility.
unable to go in and out off of Star.
Just exclusively, yes, correct.
And you guys are gonna go through the retaining wall and
The retaining wall will not exist as part of the Second Avenue thoroughfare plan.
It'll just be sloped dirt.
It'll be sloped earth.
but that retaining wall stops at the last bit of your property or
I can't speak,
looking at and when we look to the west, given that that would be north.
yeah, I can't speak to the thoroughfare plan of how far east those retaining walls are being removed. I know they were being removed, I think, a couple more doors down, but again, I don't know for sure.
And you don't own the site to the west.
Yes, we did.
You do,
Yes,
which is already manufacturing, so that's what
Correct.
choice is to put a building there
yeah,
and then you're gonna put, okay.
yeah. Yeah, we own everything that in question around it, we own already.
They own this too.
Right, the three houses are coming down to make this access.
There's two houses and then.
And then a vacant
lot.
Yeah, vacant lot.
The last, the white gable one that we're seeing in the lower left, the lower right corner of.
They actually are demolished as of today.
Are they really?
There, yeah, that demolition permit has already been issued and we've already completed that work.
It's heavy rain.
Well, it wasn't today, it was actually last week, but but nonetheless, they're finishing up that demolition.
Just gonna say that the raised nature and the steep grade of our street is actually one of the things that we were concerned about because the trucks will be either coming up and over, work through, and your visibility, you're not able to see things coming in and out like we would on a class.
And Dan, is that something you folks have looked at?
Intersection site distance, is a consideration as part of that. I do not recall if that has either been completed already or if that's something that, will need to be completed as part of the plan adjustments, to the city project.
Well, with what I've heard about what you plan to do along, what's it? Second, the street behind.
Star, the north one.
With the 8 buildings you're tearing down and you're consolidating, putting something that really works. I'm much less thinking that there's gonna be a 60-foot tall building sanctioned coming right up to.
And if the commission would prefer, we're happy on these 3 parcels to reduce that height if necessary. Because again, our intent is never to locate a manufacturing building on this site.
Yeah, it would matter to me if you cut that to the 35-foot.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Height.
Yeah.
Then nobody can say, look what you guys let happen in 10 years from now, the world changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got plenty of manufacturing and buildings you've got, and ones you're gonna add. That should be,
Hopefully not, but.
well, there's a lot of room in county.
Yeah, but yeah, we're happy to change that to 35 feet if that would satisfy the commission.
So the 35 feet, but I guess the other question is, Second still has a fair amount of manufacturing and industrial traffic due to the development down to the bridge and even beyond.
Yeah.
So the character of, I mean, we're not introducing significantly more trailer traffic.
I don't think so, and you know, DePaulo Foods and Cisco Foods
Yep,
was on Reynolds Road, a block or two away. They're no longer.
there's a large manufacturing site that's on the other side of the railroad tracks as well.
Right.
I don't know how operational it is, but
No, it's fully
it's fully
operational.
operational.
Yeah, Graysville.
Yeah, there you go.
And back in the day, there were dirty semis coming in round the clock, it took 24 hours a day.
Mhm.
Well, there's it.
But this neighborhood can blend with this.
Mhm.
And has consistently over time, but yeah.
And it's a significant change in my book to knock that height down to 35 feet.
Yeah.
Then nobody's gonna say, you left the door open, it's bad precedent to say, well, you left that door open so that, you know, that airspace could be blocked up with a concrete building in a real intrusion into the neighborhood life.
Yeah.
And you know, as a good neighbor, if you dress up that front so that a mother and a stroller, and some kids that are going from school will feel comfortable on the street, so much the better.
Yeah, I believe that's already part of our.
Yeah, I don't think you're asking for anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're a very successful company that has good things happening. What you've done with the Tinker property is thumbs up.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So any other comments? Okay, I think, do we need to adjust the text at all on that?
No, there's no additional materials, but I do want to clarify, are you proposing that you're conditioning your vote on page 35 going forward?
I'm going to ask for a motion to go to the 35-foot height clearance.
We're agreed.
I'm not going to say and plant 2 trees, it's up to you, but I think you would show a great deal of leadership in the community if you made that a connection that was comfortable for the mother and baby carriage.
We want nothing more.
All right, I need a motion to add or to change the height limitation from 60 to 35.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Now I need a motion to vote.
Lisa.
All right, John, second. John. And now it's time to call the roll.
East Shanklin,
Yes.
Mary Conlon,
I think it's a reasonable use. I don't think it's an appropriate use. I'm gonna vote no.
John Wilson,
I think if they do a good job and there's traffic calming or something that works out with the pedestrian pressure on the street being more residential in character, and do this successfully, I'm gonna vote yeah.
Thank you, sir.
David Wood,
I concur with what John said, so reluctantly I'll say yes.
I drive by the road factory in Fifth and Cleveland every day, and I remember my nightmares. And I think you're gonna live up to our expectations. So I'm gonna go yes as well.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Commissioner.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
All right, we do fill out a fact sheet that will go to city council that stipulates why we voted the way we voted. And that would do to their advice before you go to the next round. We just recommend city council is going to.
Yes.
Understood.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So this is residential. Sees.
Okay, we will now go to case number 7. Z23-068, 2995 Morph Road.
Before we begin, please give yourself a little packet containing a revised CPD text dated 11/27/23 with updated language regarding the billboard on site. There's also an updated CPD site plan dated 11/28/23 and a list of outstanding comments from the Department of Public Service. The site consists of 2 parcels developed with a retail building and billboard in the CPG Commercial Plan Development District. The site has been no more to a regional market overlay. The existing CPD allows limited C4 and C5 uses, while the new CPD will also allow automobile sales. North of the site is an office building in the CPD Commercial Plan Development District and a warehouse in the CS Community Service District in Lincoln Township. East and west of the site are commercial uses in the CC Community Commercial District in Lincoln Township. South of the site is a commercial building in the C4 Commercial District. The site is within the planning boundaries of the Northeast Area Plan, which recommends neighborhood commercial use for this location. The site is located within the boundaries of the Northeast Area Commission, whose recommendation is for approval. The CPD text includes use restrictions and supplemental development standards addressing building vertical setbacks, traffic access, lot coverage, screening, and includes a plan to develop the site in accordance with the submitted site plan. And now there's also billboard removal language as well. The proposed CBD commercial plan development district will update the allowable uses to include automobile sales. The CBD text includes appropriate use restrictions, including supplemental development standards. The request is consistent with the Northeast Area Plan land use recommendation and will not add any compatible use to the area. The Department of Public Service has a list of outstanding traffic comments. The BZS comment regarding the existing billboard has been resolved. So upon resolution of those outstanding items to the satisfaction of the Department of Public Service, staff will be in full support. As of right now, we're in conditional approval.
And what, yet, if they've already taken care of the billboard issue?
So there's language added to the text regarding the removal of the existing billboard. There's a list of comments from the Department of Public Service included in your supplemental packet. I'll give Daniel a pleasure of explaining.
Those aren't, the eyes
Those
of
have
the,
been
okay, still,
addressed to my knowledge. So.
okay, all right. Let's see what the traffic people have to say. This is always an issue.
I'm sure you're aware, Morse Road is a busy road with a number of lanes along this frontage. One thing that we initially did on reviewing this application was we asked the applicant to talk to the neighbor to the south to see if they could obtain an access through that property to the south to Westerville Road. And the applicant did formally request that from the neighbor. However, the neighbor declined to allow that access. So as part of our access review, we reviewed crashes, and basically the email bullet point list is the result of that review. That, with the exception of one item, from my conversation with the applicant earlier today, they've agreed to those terms. The one remaining is we had asked for both access points to be limited to right in, right out only. But the applicant would like to keep at least one of those access points as full. And so we've agreed to discuss that further between this commission meeting and city council to reach a resolution on that item. But with that noted, we're comfortable with the conditional approval condition on
All right.
those items.
And
Blank check.
blank check. There's two words saved about.
There we go.
Some detail. Okay, you understand. Any questions or comments so far? Okay, planning, Chris?
Planning has no further comments, as everything they've been addressed.
Okay.
Recreation and Parks has no comments.
Okay, is anyone here to speak regarding application number 7, Morse Road? No speakers, okay. Council,
I got
oh yeah,
question for Jack. Sure the property line's correct.
We've combined the parcels.
Well, there's an existing CPD and to the adjacent building, right?
Yes.
And you're showing an 8 foot off the property line? 8 foot between the property line and your building, right?
The existing building to the east.
yeah, it's in the existing building,
Yes.
the heavier cross edge.
I'm just asking out of ancient history, but I think I looked at this about 5 years ago.
Oh.
And the property line was a foot.
Oh. Well, we'll double check it and have it reviewed again.
All right.
But it's there. I mean.
Yeah, no, I know they're, yeah.
Yeah, this is an instance where a property owner bought the property, saw that it was a CPD. Most aren't sophisticated enough to look up and find out what exactly is in the CPD text. And so he leased the eastern building to a auto sales facility. And so the code enforcement folks were diligent enough to point out that that is not permitted use based on the CPD. So here we are today asking that the tenant can stay. And so again, we have gone through a variety of different reviews. The owner was not aware of the billboard limitation in the previous text. And so when he purchased the property, you always buy it with the income stream that is coming off of the building. And so staff has been kind enough to allow us to keep the billboard there for the remaining term of the lease. And so we put that language in the text. And so we are more than willing to work with the traffic division to come up with how we're going to deal with, I think it's the eastern curb cut, and we will get that done prior to going to city council. So that's it in a nutshell. Once again, I wish 90% of my clients would look at their limitation text or their CPD text so that they understand when they're purchasing properties, what exactly they can and can't do on the property. So that's it in a nutshell. We'd like to be able to keep our tenant.
Well, if they do that, you'll be out of work.
That's right. Yeah, maybe we don't want them to look at the CPD taxes, but it is, it does come up on a very regular process, and code enforcement is very diligent. They are out there patrolling these sites. So the citizens of Columbus can know that their code enforcement people are out there doing their due diligence to make sure that we're complying with the code.
Okay, all right. Any other questions? Okay, do we need to add any, the text going way back to November 27th? That's correct. 2023, a commitment to remove the billboard, that's official. And you have a site plan that represents what you intend to do. That's dated November 28th, 23. It's okay. The other items that need to be dealt with, traffic items, and that's the blank check. Nothing else. So we're already, do we need a motion to identify those elements?
Mr. Chair, before you do that, I have a question for you. I will support that. What is the reluctance of having both write in and write out? What is the reluctance of that?
Well, I think the right in and right out was already committed to on the western curb cut as a part of previous plan that was approved by the city. And so now we're just dealing with the eastern curb cut as to whether it would be a right in and right out.
From Moss Road, I would now strongly encourage Moss Road. Moss Road is terrible with a lot of accidents because of the left on lanes.
Okay.
I think we have 6 lanes, right? It looks like. Yeah, it's done.
Well, the good thing, and at least with what we have today, it's not a high trafficked type of operation for that curb cut over there. Now, obviously, we've limited, or it has been agreed to limit the western to right in and right out. But obviously, we'd love the ability to, at some point in time, to get out of that, even with traffic on Morris Road, because obviously there are gaps. But we've got to talk traffic about it.
All right. Well, you and traffic need to get your act together.
My blank check.
Before this goes forward.
Yep.
Sometimes it's the devils are in the details. All right, yeah, based on what we have seen and the change of the height limitation from 60 to 35 feet and the inclusion of the November 27, 23 text and the November 28th, 23 site plan. I need a motion to include those three elements in the application that we're going to vote on. Motion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Okay. Now I need a motion to vote. Same two, okay, please call the roll.
Maria Conroy,
Yes.
Donnie Anderson,
Yes.
Dan Wood,
Yes.
Denise P. Sherman,
Yes.
Chair Spectrum.
Yes. Okay, you're approved.
Thank you, folks. Got my blank check.
Yeah, and it's a good night to go out and run, you can see it.
It's not raining right now.
No, it's not. Okay, we will now go to case number 8. It's here somewhere. Z 24-009, 1848 Aberdeen Avenue.
It's like this is a parcel in the Seaway Commercial District. The requested property residential district will allow the construction of a single unit dwelling. To the north of the site, a single unit dwelling in the R3 residential district. To the south of the site is a single unit dwelling in the C4 commercial district. To the east is a single unit dwelling in the C4 commercial district. To the west, the site of commercial structure in the C4 district. The site is located within the planning boundaries of the northeast area plan, reflecting both residential location. The site is located within the boundaries of the northeast area commission, who have not been received with this report. The request part of the residential district will allow the development of single unit dwelling. The proposal is consistent with the northeast area plan recommendation for the residential lands of this location. Although staff continue to prepare additional design information to verify consistency with the Northeast Area Plan design guidelines, staff notes previous proposals from the applicant in this area have been compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. In consideration of previously supported proposals and limitations, including that from submitting additional information, staff is therefore to approve this application.
You say northeast area is approval?
Well, sorry, they actually have the reading tonight.
Oh, so it's not.
Yes, not-
Okay. That's good planning. Okay, okay, any questions, staff? Okay, traffic issues on this one?
No traffic issues.
Okay, Chris?
No planning issues.
Kathy?
No recreation parks issues.
Okay, is anyone here to speak regarding application number 8? No one's here. Would you like to add to the staff report? Got to give us your name.
Got to give you my name. I'm Eric Lambert, representing Habitat for Humanity Mid-Ohio. And we do have a representative at the Northeast Area Commission currently for their meeting this evening.
Well, I think it's a noble pursuit, and I can't imagine voting no one. Meaningful as this. So, yeah. And this is the down zoning from R3 to single family.
Correct. It's consistent with most everything else in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Does anybody have any other comments for this one? Wish you the best of luck. Need a motion to vote.
Chair.
Yes.
And I'll leave this up to your discretion, but I know in the past, you guys have conditioned your vote on a positive outcome at the area commission when you haven't gotten their recommendation yet. If you'd like to do that, can I agree to that?
I'm so impressed with Habitat that I didn't give you the blank check lecture. You know what that means?
I do.
You're negotiating with checkbook out on the table. And you got time to make it go, but your next stop is city council, and you have to have all those details.
Yeah, absolutely.
Covered. So with that understanding, we'll vote on the definitely, in my opinion, appropriate use of the land. Okay, based on that, I need a motion to vote.
So moved.
Okay, all those in favor of voting? All right, please call the roll.
John Anderson,
Yes.
Dave Wood,
Yes.
Denise P. Sherman,
Yeah.
Maria Conroy,
Yes.
Chair Spectrum.
Yes, you're approved.
Thank you, guys.
Can't imagine them not making it. Okay, case number 9 has previously been tabled. So we will go to case number 10. Z24-001, 2005 Demarest Road.
Before we begin, please see your supplemental packet for revised limitation text, revised site plan, and opposition letters. The 8.79 acre site consists of 4 parcels developed with single unit dwellings in Franklin Township. On annexation to the city of Columbus, the parcels will be assigned the R Rural District. The requested LAR1 limited apartmental residential district will allow the site to be developed with an apartment complex containing a maximum of 166 dwelling units. North and west of the site are single unit dwellings in the R Rural District in Jackson Township. South of the site are single unit dwellings in the R Residential District. East of the site are multi-unit residential developments in the LAR12 limited apartment residential district. Current CB 24-001 has been filed to reduce building setback and increase garage height. That request will be heard by City Council and will not be considered at this development commission meeting. The site is within the planning boundaries of the Westland Area Plan, which recommends residential 3 to 5 units per acre land uses at this location. Additionally, the site is subject to early adoption of the Columbus citywide planning policies, design guidelines. The site is located within the boundaries of the Westland Area Commission, whose recommendation is for approval. The limitation text includes use restrictions and supplemental development standards addressing density, elevations, and setback commitments. The requested LAR1 limited apartment residential district will allow the site to be developed with a 166 unit apartment complex in accordance with the submitted site plan. Although the proposed use is inconsistent with the Westland Area Plan's land use recommendation of residential 3 to 5 units per acre, staff notes the presence of existing residential uses in the vicinity as a mitigating factor in considering support for this request. Additionally, this request will not add incompatible uses to the area. City Department's recommendation is for approval.
Okay, any questions, any comments? Dan, traffic.
The traffic access study has been approved for this application. Necessary commitments have been incorporated into the limitation text.
Already there. Chris?
No further comments from.
And Kathy?
All of our comments have been incorporated.
And you're thrilled.
We're thrilled. I'm thrilled. The traffic's thrilled.
Me too. It's thrilling. Okay, any questions or comment on this, of the staff? Are there any speakers here tonight? 2 of you? 3 speakers. Okay, you're each granted 3 minutes to make your points. Try not to be redundant. The same rules hold true for city council. So if this thing goes forward next month to city council, 3 speakers, 3 minutes each. Okay, Jeff, do you want to add anything to the staff's presentation?
Yes, Jeffrey L. Brown, attorney for the applicant.
Joe Thomas, Metro Development.
If we could just show a couple slides. I think you're familiar with this product, and I think you're also familiar with the need for additional housing units, so we won't go through that. But the important thing in terms of what we did with our layout is to kind of show you the journey from where we started to where we ended. And actually, there are 2 neighbors here in support of our application.
Okay.
I think, well, we're just trying to.
Or you're trying to get the picture?
Are we?
I got an 8-year-old
Be
granddaughter.
quicker for handouts.
If you go look, the piece is kind of uniquely shaped. And so when we sat and worked on the layout and everything, you will notice, again, wherever possible, we have fencing around the perimeter. We have our landscaping And then we've done our one-story garages, as you can see, both on the north and the south side. When you look at the relationship, we've got ends of our buildings pointed north and south to minimize that. And just as a reminder, the ends of our buildings do not have windows. So if you look at the old plan in the package, that shows where we started. And then after we had conversations, both individually with some neighbors and going to Westland and getting their input, what we ended up with is the next page. It looks very similar, but we made some significant changes. At the left side of the drawing, you will see there's no longer a building. So we were actually able to reduce a building and remove 24 units from the development. In addition to the one building out along Holt, which planning likes us to bring the buildings forward and put the parking behind, we again were able to move that north further off the property line. So what you see with this revised site plan is landscaping on the perimeter, the fence behind it. That was another change from what we did originally. The removal of a building, which results in a reduction of 24 units, and then moving the building that's out along Holt Road further north off that property line. So we think in terms of what we've done is provide an appropriate buffer setback and listen to the neighbors, and we're able to make changes where we eliminated a building and reduce density. So you have in front of you an application that has the support of the zoning staff as well as the Westland Area Commission. We're happy to answer any other questions.
Okay, let's see, the site plan is, how many units did you cut back from that?
24.
Okay.
And in this instance, John, the open space is interior, not out front. It has, our dark part, our community gardens, our grill stations, all the normal things that you see with what we do with the development and with the clubhouse out front there that you've seen before.
It's a very effective modification. Do you have any use for this little?
No, that's the one thing. It's kind of a funny little auditor. There's a little tail that goes further out to the west. I have no idea wherever that came from.
Could be a bocce cord or horseshoes venue. Okay, any questions of the applicant?
I think we've got a couple people in favor if they could.
Let's give them a turn. We'll like first. Yes, sir. You want me first?
Hi, my name is Larry Wolf.
Come up to the microphone and give us your name for the record. And give us your comment.
Do you want to come up? Or
are you for this or against?
For.
Okay. And let's have your name for the record.
My name's Lawrence Wolf. I live at 4392 Demarest Highlands Lane. My property backs up to this development. This is Berna Clark. She lives next door to me, 4384 Demarest Highlands Lane. We got notified that this was going to happen. Of course, we had great concern. We've had an empty field behind our homes for over 30 years, and that's great. Everybody wants an empty field. But then we found out the McNabs were going to sell. Of course, a lot of concerns. I met with Joe Thomas from Metro, and we brought some concerns to him. One of them was the one building they did eliminate, which we were very happy for. It was going to be directly behind Myrna's house. We talked about the trees and the fence. I said, well, can we have both? He said, yes. They also had the foresight, I thought, to put all the buildings in the middle of the field instead of on the outskirts where they're not raining down on our property. I guess my big thing is if I own that property, yeah, sure, I want to keep it empty, but I am not the owner. I can't tell the McNabs who to sell to. They've been great neighbors. I know Jackie has aged quite a bit, and he's probably ready to move on. And so that's really all I have to say. Metro's been easy to work with. Phone calls have been returned quickly, text, whatever, emails. He's kept me informed what's going on. A lot of these things were his idea. The fence and the trees, he said they were good. The trees would start at 8 foot, and the fence would be 6 foot. We wouldn't have to stare at the fence, which is great. So we'll now look out our backyard and see 8 foot spruces to begin with. And I appreciate all that.
And I will say the applicant has already shown great ability to adapt to the surrounding neighbors.
It appears to be their
And the
hip.
walls, look down on the patio, counting the hot dogs around the grill.
Right.
And the garages deflect noise, the ones that are on the edge, so he's demonstrated the skills at making those adjustments. Almost nobody wants to give up 24 units, so even with it. So,
I thought of that.
but it takes an articulate neighbor to put this thing down. Both get a kudos. Okay, let's hear our other, are you going to speak to that?
No, I'm the only ranch on that whole lot, and that's where they had put this 24, this big
Yeah,
building behind, right up behind me, and it was going to block me completely, so they were gracious enough to take that away, so.
They've proven that they listen and they know how to take advantage of options. So.
Yes. So I
Okay, let's move on to our next speaker.
Thank you.
You two only count as one speaker. Two. Okay, two.
Hello, Roger Floyd, 4348 Demers Hines Lane.
Yes, sir.
I am actually here in opposition to, I just lost my email. Sorry about that. Darn it. Yeah, I'm in opposition, I'm sorry. Company is currently building 130 units to the north on Alkire Road. I don't know if you guys took that in consideration with your traffic study that you said you did take place. That 130 units was a very wooded area. We had a deer population back there that would come across Alkire Road, be in the field, you never see the deer, so they wiped out that wildlife over across Alkire Road. So it's just kind of disappointing that, I won't see the wildlife back there in the property. This development also has Canada geese. We have hawks, all types of wildlife that, that's out there in the field. I know progress is progress, but, at what extent we just, let this go by. If this proposed density, if this is approved, proposed density of this area will be untenable. This area will have an excess of 300 new residents within a small area. This also would be in addition to the 36 apartments that are located to the east side of Demers Road, which is directly across the street. We don't have any public sidewalks or public transportation in this area, so we don't know how that's going to work out also. With all the new building, the already dangerous roundabout at Demers and Alkire, we just think that situation is going to be worse because of the proximity of 270 overpass and the intersection being there. And also that the entrance for the new development would be offset from the entrance across the street on the other side. So we have like 3 different types of entrances, people trying to come into Demers Road, 3 different directions. So I think that's going to be another problem with the traffic area there. This developer is also trying to put another 300 units down closer to Holt and Alkire, which I think would just compound even more traffic into our small area there. It's only a 2-lane road in and out all over. My property currently abuts this development. I don't have the luxury of being these guys in the back where they just get the parkland or whatever. I will actually have the 3-story building directly behind my property, and I do not care to look at 3-story apartment building. We don't understand why you would put apartments in between residential areas is another concern. It just doesn't seem appropriate, for the aesthetics of where we live. Yeah, I know we need affordable property or housing and stuff, but I don't know that this is the actual property that we should be looking at to be building 160 units, you know, that's going to compound our traffic problems. Respectfully, I wish to oppose at my position, I oppose the development of this. Thank you.
Can you show us where your house is?
I'm sorry?
Can you show us your house at this moment?
Yeah, my house is actually located right here. That's what I'm saying. They have the luxury of the green space. I get the luxury of all this. And I don't know why they have to go 3 stories up anyway. It's just going to be an eyesore.
All right, is that it for the speakers? Yes, sir.
Chairman Fitzpatrick, committee members, thank you. My name is Tony Hammond, and I live in the Charleston Route subdivision as well. I recently read a study on the internet from escholarship.org that was published in 2018. This study showed that there was 150 to 320% more violent crimes and 140 to 290% more property crimes and apartments than detached single-family homes. Of course, we can expect that these crime rates have since risen in 2024. Apartments also have a much higher density of population per area than single-family homes. This contributes to a larger volume of motor vehicles entering and exiting onto Demarest Road and the roundabout, with possibly 289 more vehicles from this complex. And I have written here an unknown number from the current complex that is being built at this time on the other side of the roundabout. But as Roger stated, I think that was 130 units maybe. This roundabout is a single lane that was built when there were not 3 additional apartment complexes to that immediate area. This roundabout becomes backed up with the volume of traffic during rush hour now with the 2 newly added apartment complexes. In addition to this, immediately upon entering or exiting the roundabout, you're going to encounter 3 bus stops, whereas now there is only 1. It is obvious that this is highly unmanageable to adequately move traffic through and around this area. Additional apartments also means more school-aged children, and all this increased traffic is also a safety concern for them. Rental units are traditionally occupied by those that are less financially attached to those living units with closed-end leases, whereas single-family homeowners are more financially attached to their community and have a sense of pride in maintaining that space and contributing to that community in a positive manner. I highly doubt that any of the benefactors of this rezoning are a majority of the families that are invested in the immediate surrounding area. Simply put, it should be up to those that make up the community that is affected socially, physically, and economically to have an influence that is reflected in this board vote as it pertains to the rezoning of this property. And if it is beneficial to their community or to its detriment, I suggest that it is to its detriment when you take these factors into consideration and respectfully ask this committee deny this application.
Okay, thank you for your input. Jeff? Joe?
A little bit of irony, the property owner here actually sold off part of his site to the south for that subdivision. So he created his own neighbors. Traffic asked us to do the study. We did the study. They reviewed it. They accepted. The curb cuts go where traffic tells us to put them. From a sidewalk perspective, we often hear what the neighbors are lacking. When you look at our development, what they're lacking is all the things that we provide. We've got, I believe we're calling it a shared use path along Demarest. Part of that, typically that would just cover our frontage, but traffic has asked us to extend that to the south to connect up with that subdivision sidewalk system. So there will be a further connection off our property that will connect our new shared use path with that subdivision's existing sidewalk. We think we're being sensitive in terms of how we laid out the site to start with. Joe engaged with the neighbors, and the result of that were rearranging the fence, removing a building in this instance. But I think when you look at what we try to do, put the buildings in the middle, put the garages where we have them on the perimeter with the landscaping and fencing is a rational way to handle the situation. We are not unique in terms of this part of the world. There's multifamily right across the street. So in this instance, we have staff approval. We have Westland Area Commission approval, and we would like to have your approval of this zoning tonight.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you be able to tell me how many times you met with the Westland Area Commission?
We met once with the zoning committee and got a recommendation of approval, and then that allowed us to move forward to the full commission where we got a recommendation of approval.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
I mean, Joe knows all the school stats and crime stats and everything. If you want to go off that deep end, we can do that.
I just wanted to know.
Okay. I've seen a lot of site plans, but in my way of looking at things, if you're sitting on your patio for construction, if you're looking at some trees and an open lot, and you can have somebody develop a site that gives you a fence and some trees, and these tall buildings are no closer than 100 feet away from the property line. So garages are closer, but they're inert buildings. The closed are actually sound buildings. So this plan takes into account a lot of the dynamics that make up for a good site plan. And a site plan that takes into account what kind of context is happening with the surrounding neighborhood. In the city of Columbus, we can't have every project go into a moratorium because there's a traffic issue down the road somewhere. We rely on the traffic department to recognize the things that need to be done and then making them happen as development progresses. And you've shown good faith with your lowering of your density, clearing out that triangular shot at the end of the property. So I don't know where I've seen too many projects or any that have accommodated the input from neighbors as well as this kind of thing where you move things in and created the kind of insulation that you would have inside your development and pretty much closing the door on your effect on what happens to the neighbors. So that's my comments. Anybody else have a?
Well, just a quick question. I concur with what the chairman said about, I think this is a very efficient layout of the site plan. In order to address some of the concern, at least the last speaker spoke, that this house, how far is it from the face of this building here to the back of that house?
100 feet.
That's just the property line. If you consider their backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably 140 feet.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, the closest building is the one up front, the building 5. That's 100 foot from the property line.
But that's the road.
Correct. Yeah. But our concern, of course, was the tree buffer, the fencing, and the garages, which will eliminate anybody's view from that back of yard to any of the 3-story buildings. Now, again, if you're driving down Demarest Road, you're going to see a 3-story building. So.
But more importantly, if you put it across the fence line from this development, the balconies are over 100 feet away, 140 feet away from your patio.
Correct.
And you got a opaque fence, nobody cutting through yards unless they're a pole vaulter. And you got trees with a canopy that provides even more privacy from somebody that's on their 3rd floor balcony. So.
Correct. And the one benefit that we're also adding, all the houses along Alkire Road are in the township, and we'll be bringing sewer along our, of course, northern boundary line, which all those neighbors along Alki Road will have the availability to tie into a central sewer. And as you can see, I met with every single homeowner along Alki Road and attempted to meet with every single home along our south property line to show the benefits of this development. Of course, the bigger benefit for the neighbors on Alki Road is the availability of the sanitary sewer for them, if they choose to connect to it. But there's also drainage issues that they have along the Alki Road property line with ours that would be able to address those as well, because there's really no good flow for their outlet for their backyards currently. So this time of year, they have a lot of standing water, which will work with them to provide drainage for their backyards. And of course, the south property line owners, we took it in really good consideration because of the setbacks along that fence line. So,
Well, as the city goes forward with the mayor's mandate, we build more housing so that we don't start to decay. This is doing it right. What I'm looking at here is doing it right. What we looked at last month, there were things that weren't just right. We voted no unanimously because they tried to do the job, but they didn't do it right. In my opinion, you made the moves, you cut down some units, gave you the freedom to make effective moves. And I can't imagine anybody taking a difficult triangular piece of property and getting any more out of it. And I commiserate with someone that wants to have the open lot. You pay the taxes on it and it's their nature reserve. Can't be good. So I'll leave it. Anybody else have any comments? Maria?
I mean, I personally would be more comfortable with a two-story because that's basically, it's two-story and one-story that are all around it. I appreciate the adjustments and the setback. It makes sense. And that, like I said, personally, I would rather see it as two-story, given what's surrounding there. But because even the townhouses that are across, those are two-story, the multi-unit are two-story.
Well, if these were 30 feet away from the property line, I would.
Again, I understand the argument.
Okay, anybody else have an insight? Okay, we need to have a motion to go with the updated text dated April 3rd, 2024, and revised site plan dated April 10th, 2024. Second. All those in favor? Okay, please call the roll.
David Wood,
Yes.
East Schaefer,
Yes.
Maria Conroy,
Yes.
John Emerson,
Yeah.
Ted Fitzpatrick.
Yes, you're approved.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, I'd like a motion to clear the table and call it a day. Don't need you second.
Hell yeah.
Pardon me, how come I didn't get a turn to say my piece?
You didn't put your hand up.
I'm gonna tell you anyway.
Be good.
I just left the Majestic area. I'm 85 years old. I moved into that area very recently because it's such a nice neighborhood. I noticed all the people moving in there did nothing but make it better. Redid their homes and all. And what that picture doesn't show is that roundabout so close. I know you've discussed that, but we have a hard time getting through that roundabout now. And it's really gonna be bad with that going in there. And right across the street from that, there is another one already. And it's caused problems in the short time I've been there. I'm Gene Duncan, I live there.
Gene, I'll add your name to sign this name. Pardon? I'll add your name to my notes here for the.
Thank you.
Maybe you're in school, you gotta put up your hand.
Like, dude, what are you thinking? Everybody else? We're going to have to know. And then